This is our second oil painting demonstration. This is the landscape. So remember, landscapes can be landscape orientation, or you could do it this way. For example, you could have, some kind of a land here, some kind of a tree and a swing here. Landscapes are very open to kind of interpretation. Usually I'm looking for some kind of a horizon line. So horizon line can be like underwater, so this could be, the ground of a seabed, and then the water here and some animals along here. Even kind of like a, like a space, ideas theme where you might have, the surface of the moon here and then Earth here and then a flying saucer, destroying the Earth, whatever you want to find that you enjoy. The one that I'm going to run with is this one. So again, you can find stuff online if you are trying to develop a portfolio for an art college. You can take photography, take photos of trees or buildings, or if you just want to work on your own imagination, that's fine as well. Just try to find some photo references to at least kind of work off of. But I like this one. I like the colors of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the angle here. Do notice that this is a longer rectangle than this, so I'm probably going to end up cropping or just kind of shrinking that tree a little bit so it fits onto that. And then the painting technique on this one is just, I'm mainly going to get the background done. I'll see how wet the paint is to get some branches in here. Then I'll probably let it sit for a day and then come back when it's dry and then do that layering there. So that's kind of the goal. Otherwise, again, just sit back, enjoy the music, and let's see how this turns out. Thanks. Okay, so I have the first layer down. If you notice, this is more of a background to foreground painting, where I had a rough sketch of some main lines, which is the horizon line and the trunk of the tree, and I had a couple lines up here just to get an idea of what I wanted to do. But if you notice, I did paint over them. Remember that the technique that I want you to kind of work with is we're not doing a photorealistic, where you're really blending the colors in, but you really want to see those individual brush strokes on here and make the painting look like a painting, kind of thing. So lots of variety. I mean, I only have two blues, a white and a yellow called, what is that called? Naples yellow, I think. Yep. And because I didn't want a bright yellow, I wanted a duller one, because based on the painting originally, it was not a bright yellow on there. So I feel like I have a good base. I do have it at an angle because oil paints are a lot more glossy when they are wet. Remember to use a little bit of water. You don't want to use too much water because then it gets, it'll dry faster, and you won't get that painterly effect. But you need to add some water because the paints are thick when you squeeze them out, so you got to be able to find that happy medium, like with anything in life. It's not one extreme or the other. So the goal is to just let this sit for about 24 hours. So I'll finish this tomorrow morning. And at that point, this will probably still be tacky. I struggled a little bit getting this paint on that, but it wasn't that bad. If I was in a rush, I could probably do that, but I'm not in a rush, so I'll wait and just do this right. And then the goal is to go in and layer that last layer on. So if you were doing like an animal, for something, those highlights are kind of your last thing they want to do. So if you're doing a tree, then that would be it. You want to kind of get those leaves in last because this is going to be underneath that, which is going to be dark, which will make your leaves pop out a lot more. That's on here. Other than that, I'm gonna just put a cover on my paint palette here, just in case I need those later, and that is it. So we will revisit this here in a little bit, and we'll do the next step. Thank you. Okay, so I've let this sit and dry for about 24 hours. Feeling it. Again, this is an oil painting. It is still a little tacky, especially in the areas like in this area where I had a lot more paint. But again, you want that in an oil painting because it gives you that chance to be able to go back, even like a day later, and be able to kind of pick that stuff back up again and help with it. Otherwise, I think it's good. Like this is completely dry, almost. A lot of these areas are dry, and it's definitely dry enough for me to go ahead and do this next part where I'm just going to be taking like white and that Naples yellow and create the leaf part on there. So yeah. So otherwise, this is again a background to foreground painting. It's a technique that you can use. You don't have to on that, but when you have tree things like this, you can imagine how much easier it is to paint the background, then layer something on top of that, and layer something on top of that, and it should work out just fine. So, okay. So otherwise, I'm going to switch over to time lapse and finish this up. Thanks. Bye. Okay, I got the last part done. It was a little bit of a struggle. I wasn't sure about it at first when I was kind of working on it. I do notice like the colors that are in here are more purplish. Mine's a little more red. I don't know. It is what it is. But I kind of learned a little bit when I did this, and that's kind of your goal anytime you do a painting. And that's one thing that's nice about these smaller ones is that you don't have to spend like hours on one piece, but you're experimenting and you're trying to get used to techniques on multiple pieces that don't take as long. So like this part maybe took me like maybe 10 minutes. And I was trying to find out, at first I was just kind of pressing down and then making a line like this. But then I realized that it was just as good if I just went in and did these dots instead. And then try to make sure I didn't overly mix or use too much water or too little water, or anything like that. This area would be perfect to put my signature. Once it's completely dry, we will do that. In terms of turning these in, we get these frames. They're just frames I get over at the Dollar Tree. We take the glass out of it because if you put the glass on top of an oil painting, a lot of times it sticks and it's permanently adhered to it if it sits on there for a few weeks, kind of thing. And so we just throw it on the back. You don't have to make a painted frame for this. And that's another nice thing is always consider, what kind of frames you have at your house. So if we do a frame later on and you have a frame that's sitting in your basement, and our project is like a 16 by 20 and you happen to have a frame that might be like 15 by 24 or something like that, you just ask and and you bring it in or something the size first. I say, yeah, I think it's comparable. Or work out something else. I was like, well, make sure you have more detail than somebody else would. Then try to make sure that we're putting the same amount of time into it. Otherwise, this one's done. So we will be moving on to our next one. So I'll have one more, which is going to be our self-portrait. That I'll have to get a picture of myself on that, and that'll be the last demonstration. Because the last two are choice projects, where again you find something that you want to do. I told you to do the still life, which is your fruit or your vegetable, your landscape, and your self-portrait. Now you could do what you want to do. So if you want to do like a dragon, or a butterfly, or some cartoon character that you like, or whatever, you can go for it. And the last one, remember, your choice project is completely original, where I don't want you finding anything on the internet. You can work off your own photography because then it's 100% yours. There's no copyright to that image or anything. And then you can just work that way. So by the end, you'll have 5 paintings. Each one individually gets put on Artsonia with a little blurb about it, and then we get them brought them in and we put them in these small frames. Okay. Other than that, Good luck on your project. Give it some time to dry. It'll be tacky for a while. Looking at this one is completely dry now. Good. And that's been sitting for a good week. So oil paints do dry, especially with this new formula of these water-based oils that I'm super excited about. So yeah, good luck on it, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.